still trying to work from home, but everything's moving along. I've lost more weight and just really focused on the positivity. Even Callie will comment on it once in a while. She'll be like, "Mom, you're so different. You feel good."
Oh my gosh.
Listening to some of the recordings, and then she asked me to make one for her. So she listens to one before she goes to bed, especially when she's at Dad's.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Hi, you haven't met Sarah.
Hello. Nice to meet you. I love your hair.
It's so long.
That's beautiful. My daughter has blonde hair, and I always wanted her to her dad kind of has a little bit of red in his beard, so I was wondering if he would have like beautiful red or strawberry blonde hair.
So now that's interesting because Callie was born a bleach blonde.
Okay.
I'm brunette, and Jeff is a brunette with a red beard.
Okay.
Callie got older. It has turned into this strawberry blonde, this, brighter, without being brassy. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it.
I'm hoping it'll turn into rose gold.
You want it to be a rose gold color?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite colors. Yeah. I think it's such a beautiful.
Did you ask her what state she's in? What state are you in?
Right now I'm in Arizona, and it's really hot.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I was in California over the weekend. It was much cooler, but I'm back in Arizona now where it's hot. It's been overcast, though, the last couple days, so it hasn't felt as hot. So
hot and humid here, and it feels it. So, all right, you have.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so it's been really, really, positive. I don't even know how to explain it. You can run through. Go ahead.
I remember, and I love that you made her recording too. Do you record the beginning where you have her look up and put herself in hypnosis and go down the 10 steps? Oh, that's perfect, because that's what gets you in your subconscious mind. I mean, and it's not always like I was listening to my recording this morning, and Gabby was laying in bed with me, and she was awake and moving, and what are you listening to? So I gave her like one of the earbuds, and so I wasn't completely in hypnosis, but even just hearing those words, like regardless of like the state of trance, like sometimes you're very deep in it, and sometimes just kind of like a lighter trance, but you're still hearing the words, and it still always makes a difference.
Well, one of the things that has changed about me is I felt I always needed to be on top of everything all the time. So, but I've recognized through this process is that, when she's with Dad, I can focus more on me. I can focus more on where I need to be. And when she's with me, I can stay in that level and not get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then have a 12-hour, 15-hour day where I'm so exhausted. So sometimes when she's with me, I'll listen to it when she's with me in bed, or I'll be at my desk and I still hear it, but I'm not as deep as I am when she's with her dad. So I'm really proud of the fact that I can balance it out, which is what life is really about,
You nailed it. Yeah. I think sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, like so internally hard on ourselves when we feel like it's not perfect, or it's not like exactly right, or like the situation isn't ideal, and it's never ideal. So kind of that, like, go with the flow, just go with it,
and that's how we've been managing everything. Like, sometimes, like even with working from home, like today with the diagnosis that just came over, she's a little sad, a little worried. I'm a little sad, a little worried. I'm going to take the rest of the day off. I can make up my time next week when she's with her dad. So taking that time, we're going to go sit in nature for a little while and do some meditation, which she likes to do. Yeah. And,
perfect.
Yeah, we've both been doing yoga, and, it's just amazing how peaceful I feel about myself and how much it's progressed towards her. Like, her anxiety is getting better. Even Jeff will say, when she comes back from you, she's just so much more natural. But then when she comes back from his place, she's a little more headstrong, a little bit more anxious. And so he's like, what do you do? And I said, well, you're not ready, Jeff, because you're not like, he thinks this is hokey and stuff like that, but he also doesn't believe in God. So he's a little bit more mainstream, I guess. But he's much more interested and much more in line with thinking about it. So that's good. And
yeah, honestly, and And there's so much truth. I feel like so much I put out there, like messages that maybe people just aren't ready to receive. Like when I say
Yep.
the only person you can change is yourself, and changing you changes everyone, everyone around you, because they kind of just, what are you doing? You know, and you don't have to even say that they're doing anything wrong or bad or good. Or, well, you don't have to say anything about anyone else. Just be you, and it will change them. And
Yep.
I feel like sometimes, like, I mean, obviously it's very different to experience it yourself. And there's something about it just being open to experiencing it where it just clicks and you go, oh my gosh, and you're experiencing that now. And Callie is, and he is.
Yeah.
And oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm definitely awoke. I'm definitely hit that phase where I'm awoke and, you know, ready. The other thing that has happened, which I didn't plan on, was natural selection of weeding out the negativity, you know, Facebook and what I'm listening to. I just all of a sudden have no desire and limited patience, to be honest.
Yes. Good.
Like, yeah, and I don't have to unfriend them on Facebook, but I do snooze them or I unfollow them so I don't see them all the time. So I'm much more conscious about that. And, you know, my sleeping is great. My thinking is great. You know, I'm more spontaneous and more easygoing than being so.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's all been amazing.
Oh my gosh, Amy, that's powerful. And that's all part of it. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
I don't need to like think about, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I just simply don't let it in anymore. I just click unfollow, and I just think this doesn't feel good. So I'm not going to give any more time or energy or attention to the things that don't feel good anymore. But it's not like it becomes less and less of like a battle in your head. Like, oh, are they going to be mad at me? Are they going to find out? What are they going to say?
And that's
Wow.
exactly what you're saying, is that battle. You know, I know that I haven't won it because it's probably a lifelong process. No one really wins it, but I've conquered it. You know, so, you know, I have some drama with my mom, and she doesn't talk to me based on everything that happened in November, but I guess they were sideswiped coming home from Florida, and nothing happened. It was, you know, a tractor trailer got too close, skimmed out the side. They still drove home. But the amount of drama that my mom brought to the table for me was, you know, we're going to the hospital, we have this, we have that. And it was just like really blown out of proportion. And I just let her know, Mom, I'm sorry you're traveling home. Let me know when you're home safe. And, you know, I told her, I said, I hope you're okay. And, you know, I've got some things to take care of, but please let me know when you're home, you're safe. But I wasn't going to dive into it. And even I reached out to my brother, and he's like, Amy, that's not what happened. She was just baiting you into this emotional baggage. So I felt really good about being able to discern it and not about what's happening. I just, you know, trusted.
And tell me about like the old Amy. You know what I mean, but like
I do.
Not old, but the pre Amy. There we go. I had someone say that this weekend. I said, well, that's like the last nail in the coffin, and he goes, that's like really negative. What do you mean, like the icing on the cake? I'm like, oh, okay, like that. So not the old Amy, the pre Amy.
I get it. I would have even dropped everything I'm doing and driven wherever they were to find out what happened. I would have, you know, given up vacation days. I would have, you know, probably not packed anything and eaten fast food the whole way down. Like literally, I would have stopped my entire life to go find out what happened. And that is not who I am anymore.
Wow.
And, yeah. I mean, we're talking a full 360 on what I would have done versus what I did. And, you know, after I sent the text message, I didn't even feel guilty. I didn't feel, see, that's the other thing that would have happened. If I couldn't be with them, if there was an issue, I would have fallen into this depression where I was eating a pizza every night or watching movies for 3 hours and not working out, not walking. And once I sent that message and let them know how I was feeling, what I was thinking, I just moved on with my productive, healthy day. And, you know,
oh my God,
I felt pretty good about it. I know.
That's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
That's powerful. And I'm going to go out there and say you probably didn't think it was possible to.
I did not.
Like within you, for you to be the kind of woman that you are now, just what, a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Not even that.
And even my friends, like, I don't see them all the time because of COVID, but when I'm talking and even the way I'm verbalizing and, you know, they're like, Amy, you are just like transforming. What's going on with you? And I'm like, yeah, this is what's been happening. And I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm not ashamed about it. It just feels really good to, honestly, I feel like I'm finally me.
Yeah.
Where I wanted to be in my mind and my heart, you know?
Yeah. And that's that you is always there. And the phrase or the term letting go, like, it's so seemingly like just let it go. But you realize you get covered up with all this stuff. You get covered up with the story and the drama from your mom, with other people. So letting it go is truly like that you is still inside of there. So you uncover, you really like let the stuff go that's been covering you, and there you are. Like, that's amazing that you feel like you're you.
And before, I was afraid of what people would see. I was afraid of uncovering because, you know, mom had said all those things and, you know, other people have said my worth was poor. Now I'm like, this is me. I got it, you know, and I'm confident. It's weird because, like, before I used to think about everything I was going to say. Now it just kind of happens and it feels good. And I even know when I'm not supposed to say something, so I kind of back off. Like, you know, it's like that thinking is very clear.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, before it used to be like, okay, we're going to go to a party tonight. If someone comments on this, I think I need to be ready to answer this, or somebody wants to know this, I don't want to share this. Like, now it's, oh, I'm not comfortable talking about that right now. Thanks. And moving on.
Yeah. So before you were thinking about thinking.
Oh yeah.
And that is like the definition of driving you crazy. I used to do that too. And I would play out all these scenarios. I'd have A through Z. Like, if this happens, then I'm going to say this, and I don't know, well, what if they say that instead, you know? And you have all these things. And then, you know what? The crazy thing is, none of them ever happened.
That's true. Very true.
It always generally does end up better than you thought, but like, it's not even that. It's the thinking before the actual action that drives you crazy.
And it's not worth that. And I've recognized that I can do that. And even, you know, my upstairs neighbor had said Tony was here when I was away for a weekend. And normally I would reach out to him and be like, what are you doing? Why are you there? I didn't even reach out to him. I didn't do anything. Like, I have no reason to tell him. Now, if I see him, I can go outside and tell him, you're not welcome here. You need to leave. But he's just going to get himself into trouble. This is his own mistakes he's making. I don't want to be part of that. So it's interesting how even that has calmed itself.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about that like on our first call, that, you know, problems hold hands with other problems. Misery loves company. And so,
that's right.
But you don't, and there's never just working on one thing. It's you work on the inner, and then everything is impacted. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And exactly at the right time, like you just said with Callie's diagnosis, like you working on yourself is going to show her, like, no, there's no such thing as perfect. And everyone goes through things, and everyone has ups and downs and highs and lows and sideways and backwards and twists, and that's part of life. And regardless of what it is, you can get through it. And getting through it is just connecting to yourself constantly. Yeah.
And we've been doing more artwork and more creative work too. So it's like that block is open. And I find that, you know, because I'm not a big Barbie girl. I think you and I might have talked about this. Like, I don't like to play the Barbies. And Callie, she does that with her friends.
I'm with you.
But so we've been embracing some of the creativity and going into nature and doing Tai Chi together and stuff like that. And I've noticed both of us, both her and I, are opening more during those times. It's almost like, you know, the third eye is open and we're in line with each other and we're in line with ourselves. And
oh, I have chills, Amy. Oh my gosh.
And she sleeps better. I sleep better. We talk better. Like, we don't argue. We're not, she has her days. I do too. We all do, but they're very infrequent compared to previous.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
I am so happy. And even my boss was talking to me on the phone. He's like, you know, I can't wait to see you again. I'm like, what? And he's like, something's different about you and I want to see it. And I said, well, I don't think you're going to see it. I think you'll just know it. And he laughed. He's like, okay.
But even just over the phone, you haven't even seen him.
Nope. I haven't seen him since March.
Yeah, since the COVID thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So he can just hear the difference over the phone. Well, and I bet, like you said, you've lost weight and like even your face, like just, it's more upwards.
It is
lighter
even
and more
here, and
free.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
I was right when you mentioned going out, I was reading. So I get a yoga journal magazine, and on the plane this weekend, I was reading through it, and I've heard and done some of her videos before. There's Energy Medicine by Donna Eden.
Okay.
So, yeah, you might like her videos. They're powerful. Like, it's a lot of like pinching the energy, like where you feel like it's stuck, you know, if it's you have a headache and you kind of pinch and then like shake it and flick it out. So she goes through all the different meridian points and energy lines. So looking into Donna Eden's videos, I think maybe those are some things you guys can, you know, just watch. And there's a couple like quick ones, and then go outside and do them, you know, find a tree or find somewhere to, you know, to breathe. And then some of them are like crossing one arm and then the other, and then bringing it up and like flicking it out.
Sending it. Yeah. It's going to sound really gross, but one of the ways I taught Callie, she was having a really bad panic attack. And of course it was during the board meeting for my church that I had to be on. I even called Jeff. I said, you have to drive over here. I can't focus enough with Callie right this minute. I have to make a choice. So he was on his way over, and I said, Callie, pretend you're picking your nose. Pull that worry bug out. Pull that anxiety out. Pretend you're picking it and just flick it into the wall.
Yeah.
And she was doing that for like maybe 30 minutes before Jeff got here. And by the time he got there, she was tired, but also knew that she picked it all out. And that's gross. I'm like, well, at least I couldn't come up with anything at the moment.
I love it. I mean, I all the time, like, it's something weird, and maybe it's a mom thing, but I'll go, Gabby, look up. And she'll go, and I'm like, I see your booger. Can I get it? And then she gets excited, and she starts trying to get it. And then I'm like, let me see. Did you get it?
And then it changes the thought.
Yeah, but I love how you gave it a name. You attached a feeling to it, because there is something. I mean, I notice when she falls down, she gets a scab. She picks and picks and picks. We pick our scabs, we pick our boogers, we pick our pimples, we like pick it. We pick at things. And when we like squeeze it and we see it coming out, it's that like,
satisfaction, yes.
Yeah, and so when you attach that with a negative feeling or a feeling that you don't want, that's an amazing analogy, especially for kids, because they can see it releasing. Another trick, or there's another guy that I follow on TikTok. He's a doctor. I can look him up, but he said when you're having a panic or anxiety attack, you know, obviously there's a chemical, you know, imbalance going on that's causing this from this thought, and the thought creates that feeling. The feeling creates the action of like the shallow breathing and the labored breathing. So he said to grab a lemon and, you know, don't peel it or anything, like literally just bite into it. And then that immediately like changes, you know, it hits the taste bud, sends a signal to the brain, and changes your state like in a really quick, effective way. And he said just bite it and just like suck on it. And then the biting of the lemon, because it's not really easy to just bite through, allows your jaw to like to latch and sink into something. So maybe try that. I mean, it's not supposed to taste good like lemonade, but it kind of will change your state. And then you take the lemon out and spit it out, and he said that helps. So maybe have her try that too.
I will. And even myself, like pre us, I wouldn't know how to help her. I wouldn't know how to help myself. I would just like consume the calories and just stuff myself with things and food and emotions and people I didn't like. Like I would just put all this stuff on top of me or in me. And now I know how to change that state. I know what to gravitate to that will make me feel calmer and better and still be healthier. And so now I can do it with her too. You know, I know I recognize what he's doing with that lemon, because sometimes getting out of that state and making the right choice and the right next step is very hard.
That's what it is. Because here's your problem. Here's where you want to be. How do you get there?
All messed up.
Yeah, you get there by changing your state, by like refocusing and going, okay, whoa, pulls you out of that. And then it just puts you in a different position to, okay, now I can think, what do I need to do to get here now? So it just gets you closer to it. Wow.
Yep. So, and
You're
the other
changing the world. You're changing her. And imagine, I was
yes,
talking to my stepdad about this. Obviously, the world's in crazy state, and it
is.
always has been. It always will be. And that, as a parent, I think is one of like the things that I just, whenever it's my time to go, because we never know when it's going to be, I want to leave Gabby with enough connection with herself that she will be okay. She can make it through the hard times. Like, and I think that that's changing the world one person at a time, because when you change yourself, you change your children and everyone around you. And then if they go do that and it just spreads and it just makes the world, you leave it better than you found it when you really work on yourself. So
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that, because for some reason, I think I mentioned to you about that guy from high school that connected, and so we were very clear. We knew that we were attracted to each other, but we were very clear that neither one of us are ready for a commitment or a relationship, but let's build our friendship. Well, he had asked if we could come up and visit, and so Callie and I went to visit, and he's going through this whole process of, you know, he's building a house and he's trying to work. He's just got a lot on his plate, so he's concerned and worried. And Callie said, so when are you going to finish your house? You know, when are you going to put the roof on? It was just a kid question. And he was like, you know, I'm trying to figure that out. And she said, listen, you just need to have a really big, healthy salad. You need to just sit down on that rock and meditate. Find your third eye, and that house will get built. And he looked at me and he's like, is she my soul sister or what?
oh my gosh.
And after that, like, just seeing, I hear from him now, and he's like, I'm so motivated. I'm so excited. I'm so ready to do this. And I'm like, my 9-year-old just did that.
Oh my gosh.
And not to brag, but like my 9-year-old just did that because I taught her.
Brag.
And
brag away.
Yep.
Brag away. Oh my
I know.
gosh.
And he was like, this girl needs to just be on a platform teaching everyone, and not a stage, but like, you know, the beach or those, like, she's definitely not that type of person to be mainstream, but you know, I feel like she might be a yoga teacher or a meditation teacher or something.
And kids now especially need other kids. They don't need other adults telling them. They have been told, you know, I know, the last thing that a kid wants to hear is another adult going, you need to do this, you should do this. They need other kids, other people that they look up to, connect with, that are on their, like, understand their world from their perspective. Oh my gosh.
And it's funny that you're saying that, because her friend Erin was over, and Erin's a bigger girl. She eats a lot of food. She has some issues at home, but so they wanted to have Oreos and milk, which was fine. And Erin wanted a whole sleeve. And Callie's like, let's do 3 now. And if we're still hungry later, we'll have a couple more. And sure enough, Erin was fine at 3, and they went and played. And then they came back and were hungry and had an ice pop. But it was like, she did it politely. She did it kindly. She did it in a loving manner. And I was just like, yeah, I know.
Oh, that's mindfulness. Like, that is mindfulness in practice.
Yep.
And what a beautiful balance, because you've helped yourself and now you're helping her, and I guarantee she's helping you in certain moments.
Yes.
Just even if it's not in that moment, because that experience was with her friend, you always now have that to think back on. And then when you're, you know, go back to work or whatever, and someone does the same thing, you can be Callie.
Yep.
And say, let's do that. That's a beautiful. I mean, I had a burrito with, like, you know, when you're so hungry, you feel like you could order like 3 burritos and eat all of them. And even right after you finish the whole thing, like, you barely even taste it. It's so good. And my friend was like, we should get another one. But we had ridden our bikes to the burrito place, and it was like, I would, but I don't want to ride back. But if it was there, and I said, you know what? Well, let's just ride back to where we're staying. And then if we're still hungry, we'll like DoorDash or Uber Eats. We'll just have it brought to us. And let's just like wait 30 minutes. Yeah. And even if you wait, and then exactly what Callie said, you just, you don't want it anymore. And then afterwards, we had a conversation about it. I'm really glad we didn't eat a second burrito. Like, me too.
Yeah.
We would have, and we could have.
Right. Yeah.
But how it made you feel after. And it's so
Yeah.
amazing when you're in that moment of like, whatever it's not being met, whether it's a physical pain like hunger or an emotional pain. You just, when you give a little bit and all you need, and then stay with it.
Yeah.
Connect to it. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, Edie.
Yeah, we've been doing really good, and I'm so happy. Just, and I still look at my notes, and I still go back and look at my exercises, and I've changed some of the responses so I can see that growth there, which is really important. And I don't want that to go away either. I want to be able to continue recognizing. And I also think that as I move into other relationships, romantic or friends, I'll be able to use those tools, be cautious about red flags, but still understand the red flags. Like,
Absolutely. And even
it used to be black and white where you had a red flag, you're gone. But, now I recognize that it's the amount of red flags. It's the type of red flag. It's what are you doing now, even though you had this red flag?
Right. Are you making an excuse for it? Are you saying, it's someone else's fault? Are you blaming someone else for it? Yeah. And even in week 6, there's a couple different resources. As you know, holidays and special events can be ruined very happily by toxic people. And then there's another resource, intimacy and exploring core issues in relationships. And I'm reading a book right now called Couple Skills, but it's really a powerful book about, I wish I had the cover. I don't know where, I think it's downstairs, but it's about really communicating with angry people. I mean, it does work as anything. It does work if it's just you doing it, but it is better in the relationship if that person's open and willing to see, how to communicate and kind of go through. It's a lot of exercises over, you journal based on your feeling, and then this response that you have over a week, and then you reflect back on it and you kind of see. But it does give some really good techniques about how to communicate in a healthy way, because relationships are one of the most difficult things. As you know, kind of doing this work yourself, I did the work myself. I took all intimate relationships but then when you start to get back into that, it changes a little bit.
It does.
But being very much more aware of who you are, where you're coming from. And then giving yourself the space when needed and not reverting back to old habits and ways anymore is really powerful.
And also owning the moment. Like, I don't want to be about, so when I hang out with Rob, I don't want it to be, oh, we're getting married and having kids and building a house and blah, 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 blah. I want it to be, we're hanging out, we're having a good time, we're talking, we're having whatever. And I just feel so much more calm about that than all that pressure. And it's just the vibe is so much easier and simpler than all this pressure. And I told him straight up, I said, if you bring drama to the table, I'm gonna have to say goodbye. I can't do it. And he's like, is that a hard line? And I said, absolutely. I mean, I'm not talking about life's daily struggles, I'm talking about drama,
the playing the games and the manipulation and the I never said that. When you said that,
or who's your Facebook friend and why are they liking your post? I'm 9 years old, we don't need to exactly. And he was really excited to see someone that was willing to do it, and he says that that's how he lives his life, but now he's got to prove it, just like I have to prove it.
Exactly. And that's beautiful. I love that you said that, because oftentimes when you're coming from a place where you feel like you're not good enough, you do rush things. It's like, oh, okay, well, let's get married, let's move in together, all these things, because you feel like I want them to like me. And things just naturally slow down and are more present and more fun when you don't come from a place of if you feel like I'm not good enough, that's on you, because I'm not perfect, but I'm good enough. Exactly the way I am.
He and I talked about my weight as far as, and it didn't come up as a conversation where he knows I was losing weight, and he knows that I've hit my 100-pound goal in 1 year, which was great, and that I'm still moving forward. But it was,
and I'm gonna interrupt you and say you're reducing weight.
Yes, that's right. I keep telling Callie I'm getting fit.
There you go.
But it was about, he said, what can I do to help you? What can I do to enhance it? It's not when you lose the weight. It's not when you get better or when you get healthier or when you're a size 4. It was about, what can I do? And would this help if we went kayaking? Is this, you know, so it was more of a connection than a demand.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I get that he's attracted to people who are more fit. But the conversation wasn't negative. Like with Tony, it was always, you know, you're so fat, you're so jiggly, you're so, you know, didn't that fit last week? That kind of thing. So it came from such a better place.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like the elephant in the room either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for you. And, you know, regardless of where this relationship goes, the fact that it's just a healthy one and it's one that allows you to be present and stay focused on your course and moving the right direction and have support in doing that. Like that's what surrounding yourself, you know, with whatever the relationship label is, whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, husband, whatever it is, a colleague, that it's just supportive. And you know, you're all moving together. That's amazing, and it's absolutely one that you deserve.
Thank you. And it's a good tribe. It's a good tribe to have, you know, especially with all the years of having a tribe that was against you or, you know, constantly confrontational or negative. So it's nice to have that.
And I have a shirt that says your vibe attracts your tribe. You know, it's from my yoga studio, but it's very true. Like your vibe then was lower and negative and conflicting. You had your own internal conflicting beliefs. So your tribe had conflicting beliefs with you. And now your vibe is different. Your tribe's changing too.
That's right. And I love it.
Oh my gosh, Amy.
And I did. Thank you. Thank you very much for the oil and the stone. Callie and I have been using this every day. We love it. It's like our new perfume.
I love it too. Like even just the smell, even if I don't apply it, just the smell itself is really good. They actually have, I mean, I can send you some links to stuff if you want. I don't push it. I just like to share it. But if you are interested have you used oils before?
Yep. We're very oil based, and we're also like moving away from all the chemicals in the house, like the cleaning agents and stuff. We use thieves.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Good. Yeah. So I didn't know if you wanted more information about that, I'd be happy to share anything. But Adaptive is one that I love. I use it every day. Gabby, you know, she's like, but anytime she gets a runny nose, I put On Guard on her.
Yeah.
I put oregano. I put oregano on the bottom of her feet 2 nights ago before we went to bed. And I told her, like, with her feet, rub your feet together. Don't touch your feet. It's a hot oil. We put it on the bottom of her feet because your skin is thicker there. But she reached down, grabbed with her hand and rubbed it in. And then before I could catch her, to put her hand on her nina. And I went, don't touch your nina. Gabby, you have oil on your hands. And I said, it's going to burn. And 2 seconds later, my nina's on fire. And so like we went and got a washcloth and like she was okay, like she was fine, but I was like, oh, she goes, that oil's hot, mama. Like, yeah, it's really good for fighting infection, you know, anything that with anything that's going around, we use that in On Guard. But and she goes, that one does not go on your nina. No, it doesn't.
That's awesome. Ellie uses she uses lavender a lot. She'll carry one of these and she'll smell it whenever she's anxious, so she puts it on her wrist and then I'll see her smell it her wrist. And then we've been using Vevetier.
Okay, tell me about that one. I think I have it, but I don't know.
It smells like cat piss. It's kind of a rough smell, so I do either mint or lavender in with it, or even orange.
Okay.
We use it at night and it just helps with that deep sleep. It just really come way down, but it's not one that you can just sniff and feel good about because it's so pungent.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those and I don't use them, but I know the properties and the benefits of them are really good, but sometimes the smell, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and we diffuse them with something sweeter or more minty. I put nutmeg oil in my coffee every day.
Oh, nice.
And I do
I
that.
don't have that one yet.
Yeah, nutmeg is a really good mood booster.
Okay. I know turmeric too. I can feel if I
Uh,
don't use my turmeric, like the
I like
inflammation. I feel like my neck just like gets more stiff and
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I have ginger. What's the other one that we like? Oh, well, I use the spearmint for the bugs. I put that in just water and just spritz it all over, and we don't get any bug bites and stuff like that.
Oh, that smells better than citronella. I got citronella for free once. You know, sometimes they buy one, get one, like
Yeah.
this it's thrown in. So I have citronella, I just don't use it often because it's kind of, so mint
No,
I prefer to smell like.
I use
Okay.
either spearmint or peppermint. The peppermint's really good for the bugs, but for the citronella, I do the actual candle. I'll melt down the wax and then put
Oh,
a citronella in there, so it's
oh,
more natural than what you buy in the already made ones.
yeah. Those
So
smell
it's
like very
strong, but
chemically. Okay,
yeah, but it's good for the outside.
nice.
Yeah,
I
so
love all this. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Like,
I am too. I got your leave you a review, so I've been typing up something and
oh, okay.
yeah.
Thank you. That helps to share because as you know, like where you were pre-Amy, it
Mm,
just it feels impossible. It feels like it's not like I don't even know what that would look like. I don't know what it would feel like. It's just this dream that's so far
yes.
away and it could never
Mhm.
happen. And I just want people to know that it is available. I mean, and I can say it all day long, but then
Yeah.
other people from real life people, they go, okay, wow,
Yeah.
huh, maybe I'll
And,
I'll look into it.
and that's the thing that like I was talking to one of my friends, Dawn, and that's Aaron's mom. And I said to her, I said, you know, you're going to think it's hokey. I have said for 45, 48 years that I can't change my mindset. This is who I am. It's not the truth. Like who I was a cloud. And I just needed to push that out of my way. And she's like, are you sure it isn't just getting rid of negative people? I said, well, let me tell you, you don't get rid of negative people until you change your negative feelings of yourself.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I never thought of that. And so I told her, I said, you know, it's the mindset, and it really using the RTT takes you way back to, I mean, I do not think about being worthless ever. Like, and it used to
Because you're
be,
not.
it
Yeah.
used to be a constant thought in my head.
Yeah.
And in fact, just last week I posted, you can come in. I posted something about how your worth isn't defined by the moment. It's, you know, you're always worthy. And my friend called me and she's like, are you having a bad day? I said, no, I'm posting it for everyone else that's having bad days, you know? And she's like, okay, I'm just checking. But like,
I get that too, because I'll post stuff and like I said, are you okay? I'm thinking about you. I'm like, I'm perfect. You know,
yeah,
not perfect, but like I'm
but
happy,
yeah,
I'm good. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I saw your post. I'm like, that wasn't for me. That
yep.
was for
And that's,
anyone else who needed to hear it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that you're riding this train with me.
I am. I'm so into it. And I am so ready for the next steps, which I think is something I haven't felt in a very long time.
You know, a book that you'll love, Louise Hay, You Can Change Your Life. Oh, another one I want to recommend too is even after having done all this work, it still kind of took me a while to digest because there's always little things that you're still kind of, oh, I don't know about that. Loving What Is by
Oh,
Byron
okay.
Katie. And she has the entire book is on YouTube. I think she reads it, so it's narrated by her. Very powerful into inquiry. She asks 4 questions. Anytime you're having, you know, this person should be doing this or this person should stop doing that. The first question you ask yourself is it true?
Mm. Mm.
Usually the answer is no, because if it were true, they would be doing that or they wouldn't be doing that. And then the second question is, can you absolutely know it's true? Because that, even if you're like, of course it's true, then can you absolutely know with certainty, 100% certainty that it's true? And then you spend some more time there. Generally, the answer is no, but if you move forward, I think that I always have a hard time remembering the exact order. But I think the 4th question is, who would you be without that thought?
Mm. Mm.
Generally, you'd be happy, less anxious,
Mm.
able to move forward. Wouldn't be stuck. What is the 3rd one? It is, hold on, it'll come to me. Let me look it up. I always have to look up the third one, but you'll really like that book.
Yeah,
Byron
that
Katie.
sounds
Here we
good.
go. Okay, I always have the link here because what is it? Byron Katie, 4 questions. Oh, the third question. How do you react, or what happens when you believe that thought?
Mm.
And usually you notice I start to yell, I get really angry. Maybe if it's like I'll go eat fast food. I'll skip my workout for the day. My whole day feels ruined. How do you react is I blow up, right? And then the fourth question, who would you be without that thought? And then you realize, oh, it's me. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
I'd be a lot happier without that thought. And then even just those 4 questions alone kind of brings you out of it. And it's kind of like that lemon, that lemon brings you out of it, or the picking brings you out of it.
Yeah.
So those are great ones to practice with Callie too.
Yeah.
But
I was just
those
gonna
4
say,
questions.
I think she'd like those questions, especially that first one, is it true?
Is it
Because
true?
a lot of times she thinks it is, but there's
Right.
no, like when I ask her, explain to me, how do you know that happened, or
Uh-huh.
that feeling, or why are you thinking that way? She can't express it. And I tried to tell her that if you can't express it, we just need to let it go.
Yeah.
It's not important. If we can't express it and it's not going to work through us, then.
And I love, as you know, you know me now, I love inquiry. Inquiry is the answer, because inquiry, it starts with in, it takes you in, and you have the answers. They just get clouded, they get covered. And so her book dives into the 4 questions, but then it also turns into the turnaround. And the turnaround is really powerful, especially when you're stuck in that. Is it true? Yes, of course it's true. Can you absolutely know it's true? And then sometimes you say, yes, of course, here's the evidence. Is it true? Like, my dad shouldn't have beat me. My dad beat me, right? Is it true? Yes, it's true. My dad beat me. You absolutely, yes, I absolutely know it's true. And then who would you be with, or how do you react? I get angry. My dad shouldn't have beat me. I was just a little kid. And then who would you be without that thought? Well, I'd be happy. But then you're still like, but I'm not happy because my dad beat me. So then she goes even deeper into the turnaround. And it's really interesting. The turnaround can look something like, my dad beat me, and you turn it around, I beat me. And then she coaches, especially if you listen to the audio version of it, she coaches to say, I beat me. I don't beat me physically, but I beat me with my thoughts. I put me down, I cut me down, not physically, but with my thoughts I do. And then you go, oh. And then so she does all these turnarounds. And so even just those 4 questions are great ones to just keep on hand for you to constantly be using. When you just feel like you can't shake it, when you feel stuck in that moment, you're so much better at that now, but this is an even deeper level into it. So I always recommend, that's a great next step in the journey. Explore that book, because it really, and I've read so many. You do get to a point where all the books and all the things kind of start to sound the same, but they're different lenses that you're kind of looking through at the same picture or image. And then you start to go, okay, but that one I really like. It's clear, it's concise, it's quick, and it pulls you out of it much more quickly than the couple skills. It kind of goes to the same thing, but there's maybe 10 questions instead of 4. So those 4, they're easy to remember, even if it's just the 3. Is it true? Can you know it's true? Who would you be without that thought? Okay. Well, all right, I don't want to keep that thought. I'm going to let it go.
That's right. And that's what I tell Callie and myself now is, and we ask each other, or I've asked Callie to ask herself, how does this benefit me? Is it helping or is it hurting?
Yeah.
And if you feel like it's helping you, let's look at it. Let's talk about it. And if it's hurting, then we kind of just let it go. And then if it comes up again, we deal with it. I've been trying to teach Callie something that I've done all my life is by my thought. My thought is who I am. And I'm trying to teach Callie that that's not the truth. We are not who we think. Or what we think, I should say.
Yeah.
We are who we think, but not what we think.
Yeah. I even caught my friend this past weekend, he dropped we couldn't find his keys. He left them in the car. And then he realized it when he went to unlock something. I'm such an idiot. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Leaving your keys in the car does not make you such an idiot. It just
Yeah.
means you left your keys in the car. That's simply it.
Yeah.
And you
And
look at
Callie
me
does
like,
the same thing sometimes. Yeah.
oh. But
Yeah.
and some of those thoughts are so automatic,
Mm-hmm.
and they come out,
Yep.
and I'm like, well, I'm gonna catch that, show
Yep.
it
And
to
we're gonna throw it
you,
away.
and then okay, you're right. And
Yep.
it's not about me being right, it's just about the awareness, like, okay, oh, I'm not an idiot, I just left my keys in
Yeah.
the car.
Yep. And we've done that too. Like yeah, this morning she wanted peaches, and I'm like, oh, Cal, I forgot to bring the bag in. Before I would have said, oh man, like I don't know if I would have said idiot out loud in front of her, but I would really beat myself up, and I would have stopped everything I was doing to go get them. But today it was no big deal. She chose blueberries instead of peaches, which were in the house. So it's just like it just has gone down to even the simplest process every day. You know, it's smoother and easier and loving and fun.
Wow,
Not so stressful.
Amy, that's incredible. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I'm so happy.
And in such a short time. I love that you've shared this with me, because it's some people
Yeah.
thinks it takes years and years and years of therapy.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. Life is meant to be lived in the space that you're now living it from very
Mhm.
quickly, because it actually should have been that way all along.
The whole one. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
we don't get taught. Our parents didn't know it, and they didn't know it. They couldn't teach it to us. So when you teach it to yourself and you're living from a different place now, it doesn't take years of someone with degrees on the wall to say and sit there and point out everything that's wrong with you, or put labels on you, or shove pills down your throat.
Mhm.
No,
No. Mhm.
it's like it's quick to get all that stuff out of the way and then continue on that journey, you
Yep.
know.
Mhm.
And then life is a journey. You're gonna have
A
bad days.
fun one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when you're living from this place of like, ah, you get out of here, you dirty thought.
Yep. Yep.
That's the old me trying to come back and say, I miss you. Well, I don't
Right.
miss you, so goodbye.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
the truth.
amazing, amazing. Well,
Awesome.
awesome work. Yeah, I will. If I can't recall if I've sent you week 6 yet.
I don't think so.
If I have it, okay, then I'll look right after we hang up, and then
Okay.
see if I have. So yeah, like we talked about, that kind of goes into the future relationships. But you got it, and like the most important part is just listening to yourself, your body, your thoughts, noticing them, and how it feels. You know, and everyone's got a couple red flags, but the
Mhm.
problem is when we start going, ooh, they've got 10, and then 11, and then 12, and 13.
Mhm.
I'm never gonna find anyone else. I'm gonna take a couple of these and paint them green.
Yeah.
You
No.
know? No, that's like putting lipstick on a pig. Still a pig.
Still a pig. You're right.
No,
Yep.
no. Yeah. Notice, have a number, and when it crosses that number, like, it's time. Time to move forward.
Mhm.
And I wish you the best.
And there's a difference between like what you've done when you're 19 versus what you're doing when you're 49. And we've talked about some of the things we've made mistakes in, and he said, does that bother you? And I said, well, I'm sad that you went through those situations, but I can see that this is what you've done to work through it, and this is where you're not doing it again. And he's like, wow, people usually just stop right at the judgment phase. And I said, well, none of us are perfect, but now, and I didn't say this to him, but for myself, if you do what you did when you were 19, now when you're 49, that's the red flag that I'm going to pay attention to.
Exactly.
I want to see how you handle that one.
That's perfect. And as you know, you've had enough toxic people in your life. That's exactly what they act like. They act like
Yep.
toddlers throwing a tantrum because they didn't get something that's like really insignificant and doesn't make a difference, and then they make you wrong for it. Yeah, that's a giant red flag. So
that's not happening. Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited for you. So thank you.
I will look forward to week 6, and then can I email you if I have any concerns or
Absolutely. Issues? Anytime at all.
Awesome. Sarah, thank you so much. I am so blessed to have you in my life.
I'm blessed. I couldn't do this without you. So what you see in me is really a reflection of you. So keep on. And I want to still be notified and part of your progress and your journey and all of the amazing things that happen. And anytime you feel stuck and need someone to bounce it off of, I'm always here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Amy. Take care of that beautiful girl. It's so nice to get to see her. Like I've heard the name all the time, but oh my gosh, wonderful. Okay, well, I will
Awesome.
talk to you again.
Prayers
All
to
right.
you and Gabby.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.